I am here with Josh today, who is an e-commerce growth specialist, author, and founder of the ARM5 Formula. And that's a framework designed to help e-commerce brands and investors maximize returns through innovative marketing and scaling strategies. From Scottsdale, Arizona, Josh has a strong background in digital advertising and is now focused on helping others invest in successful e-commerce companies and achieve a higher ROI on those investments than potentially traditional investments. So welcome, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, just to start off, can you give us a little background on how you've gone from working for a company, freelancing, running an agency, and actually doing investments? That's a pretty big shift in your career.
Journey. Yep, for sure, man. I mean, it's kind of like, they say that you zig and you zag on the way to your goal. It's never going to be a straight line. That's exactly the way it's been. And you also have to be very nimble. You have to be open to pivoting, which I've pivoted many times in my entrepreneur journey. But I'll try to put this in a little bit of a nutshell to keep it very concise. But early 2022, I was at University of Phoenix. I'd been there for 7 years. I'd won multiple awards. I was one of the top enrollment managers, number 16 in the company at one point. And there's thousands of employees, like we're talking, I think around 5,000 employees. And so it's a very big company. Didn't really have a very strong future. There wasn't a lot of opportunities to make more money. Just there's lots of changes in 2011 and 2010 that hit the company, especially 2011. And so early 2012, I decided to make a leap basically. And I decided to leave my comfort zone of making nearly 6 figures a year in a corporate job with great amenities, great benefits, and go over to what was called Infusionsoft at the time, which is now called Keep. And I was transitioning from a manager to a sales role. So I was taking a step down, but the pay was very similar. And when I was at Infusionsoft, I started to hear all the stories I was hearing on the phone as I was calling business owners, and I was finding out more about what is it they're doing online to make money. And it was just blowing my mind hearing all these different stories. And so as I was hearing those stories, I was collecting data and I was taking mental notes and I was really seeing where I could take myself even in the future. And then at the end of 2012, my manager, we didn't really see eye to eye, I can tell. And I wasn't like directly defiant, but he could just tell that I really wasn't jiving with his culture on his team because I didn't agree with it because I used to be a manager myself and I wouldn't have done some of the things that he was doing in running the team. And so at the end of the year, he decided to fire me, even though I was over 100% to quota for the year. And that was kind of like the kick that I needed to go face first, so to speak, into entrepreneurship. So from that point on, I started to sell services on some level. I started as a freelancer. I created a marketing agency. I scaled up my marketing agency. I created a very specific, unique scaling methodology that was based on tested strategies and processes that were yielding phenomenal results for our clients called the ARM5 Formula. I published several books on Facebook advertising for e-commerce. One was an international bestseller even. And I started to create a name for myself in e-commerce early 2013 when I officially started my business until the end of 2021. 2020 and 2021, I came super close to selling my business several times. I actually did sell my business one of those times out of 5. There was a buyer I had that ended up buying half of my company. And then we dissolved it like a month later. It just wasn't a good fit. There was just some misaligned expectations on both sides, to be fair. It was very amicable. So I was trying to move on from being an agency from early 2020 when a mentor told me, you need to sell your agency. I was like, okay. And because he knew where I wanted to go and he was trying to give me that push, and help me take that leap of faith. And so between that and the end of 2021, I started to kind of position what my next moves would be basically. And then at the end of 2021, I finally just took the bull by the horns after this 5th merger between myself and 3 other businesses failed. I decided to create my own e-commerce aggregator because that was going to be an e-commerce aggregator also with a software component, some other components that was going to make it fairly unique and very competitive in the space. And so that's pretty much the story in a nutshell on how we went from corporate America to starting my business, to shifting several times, to making a name for myself in the industry, to transitioning into an e-commerce aggregator, thanks to mentors like Roland Frazier, Patch Baker, various friends in the industry. They all were instrumental in helping me make that push from 2021 to 2022. And then in 2022, we started to find businesses to buy. And we learned a lot about buying businesses in 2022. We started to also invite investors to invest into these businesses as we're buying them, to basically partner up with us and be a completely passive investor while we do all the heavy lifting. And that's where we've been ever since. It was the right pivot to make. We've got some exciting things on the horizon right now. Over the last few years, we've done over 8 figures in revenue from multiple businesses, from businesses we bought, the same business that I've had since 2013 that had become more of a business that helps investors invest into e-commerce with us. And on the horizon, we're working on doing some big things and getting on the NASDAQ, ideally by the end of 2025. Right now, we're on track to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So
Thank
a
you.
lot of the people that are obviously going to be listening to this are more e-commerce brands and individual sellers, not investors. But I think there's still a ton of value from knowing what does someone who's been on both sides of the table and potentially might want some capital in the future. What is your kind of investment thesis? What are the types of companies that you're looking for, and what makes a company stand out to you want to invest in them?
Well, for me, because I have a marketing background and I love marketing, I love getting results. I always look for really good marketing strategies that are producing stellar results. But to give you kind of some minimum criteria, we're looking at for businesses that have been around for at least 2+ years, have been profitable over the last 12 months. Ideally, we're looking for businesses that are 4K EBITDA and above.
Mhm.
But if they're less than that, we do buy smaller businesses from time to time that we could also scale up as well. So we're always looking to buy about 2 businesses every quarter. That's our goal now. And we've so far been financing businesses and buying businesses outright through capital we raise. And financing is a process. So you can't really have too many of those at once, is what I've found here in 2024. So we try to buy like one big business every quarter, and then we'll buy 1 to 2 smaller businesses that are a million in value or less every quarter as well. But just to give you an idea there. But besides that, we're not looking for drop shipping. We're looking for brands that ideally are in the health and beauty space, but they don't have to be necessarily. We just are attracted to those spaces because we already have a portfolio of businesses in those spaces, and we have lots of experience in those industries as well. Besides that, just companies that have been ran very responsibly with their customers. They has a good reputation. They don't have a bad reputation anywhere, whether it's on Google or whether it's on Facebook, even Meta. Besides that, also their back end, their supply chain has to be scalable, because what's the point of getting a business if you can't scale it? So we need to make sure that the back end is ready to be scaled, because we can scale a company very fast. So that's the criteria.
Awesome. You mentioned that minimum 400K EBITDA earning before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. I'm
Yep.
curious. So we're a bookkeeping company. We are trying to get our sellers' finances penny perfect on time, and so that the sellers or investors can actually see what is truly going on in the business. Are there any metrics or financial reports that you're looking closely at when we're trying to assess these companies?
It's very important that every business treats their finances as if their life depended on it in their business. You could tell when you look at a profit and loss statement, you could tell if it's been slapped together and has been maintained well just by its presentation versus a business that has been treating that aspect of their business at a super high level. And so it's very important that e-com businesses we're considering to purchase or partner up on and scale up, that they have their books really, really in line at a very high level, very clean, very organized, very clear, very healthy, very detailed. Those are all qualifications, honestly, for us to even consider an e-com business that we want to buy or we want to buy into to partner up on and scale up.
Interesting. And especially when you had your marketing agency, are there any other metrics that you found helpful to track? Maybe like cost per acquisition for PPC, cost per click. What are you kind of looking at when you're trying to get a snapshot?
The biggest stuff is going to be return on ad spend or blended return on ad spend. Cut per lifetime value is a big one as well. And or marketing efficiency ratio, which is kind of similar to return on ad spend, but it's more than just ad spend. It's all marketing. But those are the 4 metrics that I really want to know right away.
Now, shifting gears a little away from specific investment thesis, you have a unique angle, seeing into these brands, seeing into the founders. Are there any trends that your companies are kind of bracing for or trying to embrace for 2025?
I would say that right now, everybody knows this, especially by the time that they hear or watch this. AI. If you haven't adapted to AI as a business, then you could be screwed, because you might be linked, because a lot of e-com businesses have already adopted AI at a very high level. And I know we have. So you got to really be on top of how to apply AI's uses to your business on many levels, whether it be in financial reporting, whether it be in marketing analytics, whether it be in process management, whether it be in customer service, whether it be in content, copywriting. I mean, you got to apply it because that's how you can do more with less. And that's how you can also maximize your profit margins. And the businesses that have done this right, they'll have more access to cash in their business because they're lean and they're getting more production out of their team. And they'll be able to take that cash and put it back into marketing and growth, and they'll grow faster than it. And so that's why it's so important that if you're behind, you better catch up. And if you already are caught up, then stay caught. That's my advice going into 2025. And besides that, I mean, social commerce is really on the rise. TikTok shops, Amazon has their own video platform right now. And you really got to be on top of that. I know Meta is going to make a bigger push than they have to compete with TikTok, along with Instagram, which is one of their properties. But yeah, you just got to be on top of that and just really like utilize those channels as much as possible because the platforms reward the businesses that do. I would highly recommend leveraging those channels for the entire funnel, new customer acquisition, and also following up with customers because, customers, they want a streamlined, quick, easy way to purchase. And that's how you can maximize your customer monetization and your profits from your customers by having those channels really optimized and succinct with your entire strategy and process. So, social commerce is another thing you just really got to be on top of, and you really have to make sure that you've implemented and that you're managing and you're optimizing at all times and trying to get the best results out of, because that can make a big impact, especially right now, because, TikTok is right now trending. It's on the rise. It wants to compete with Amazon. So you really want to double down on TikTok shops. This way you're ahead of the curve. And then of course, Amazon's a big beast you never want to neglect. So you want to be on top of that too.
Makes sense. A lot of people, AI. You have those are some good use cases, some that a lot of people might not have heard, like implementing in your actual supply chain or more than just basic chatbots.
I got something else to add to that too. And this could be super impactful and valuable for your listeners because those two, I think a lot of people know about, but there's one thing that people don't really think about, and that is acquisition. Because here's the thing is that, I see the industry getting smaller. AI is going to make it, it's going to phase out businesses. It's going to really reward the people that are leveraging it. But then you've also got AI affecting search results, which is also going to affect traffic and leads and customers and revenue. And so I do think going into 2025 that every e-com business owner, no matter where you're at in the journey, you need to take M&A more seriously than any e-com business owner has ever done. Because 2025, in my opinion, you need to buy traffic assets, whether it be blogs, whether it be groups, whether it be other businesses selling similar related products, because that's going to be such a great way to expand. And the other businesses are going to be challenged too. And so other businesses may be more open to selling or partnering too. So you just have to learn how to speak the lingo, evaluate a business, price a business right, create the offer, create the terms, execute, follow through, etc. And so I would say that e-com business owners need to really learn how to raise capital and also how to approach M&A and leverage M&A as a way to expand their business faster and more efficiently, and also to maintain competitive edge. Because otherwise, I think that a lot of e-com businesses are going to be challenged next year.
Yeah, that is very true. Profit margins we're seeing going down across all our clients. Still, they're making sales, but it's harder to do and it's a lot harder to grow and add new SKUs, expand it to new marketplaces, launch marketing campaigns if you don't actually have that cash sitting in the bank. Are you seeing a rise in importance of creating an actual brand, for example, like Facebook groups or a community? Is that a trend that you're seeing in any of your companies, or is that not as important for you?
I would say it's a trend, so something we take care of and leverage in our e-com businesses and our parent company business of helping investors. We have been leveraging that quite a bit last few years. We have a very valuable group that's done very well for us. I'd say with e-com businesses, you could definitely leverage it if done right, but we're not doing that in our e-com businesses. But, it wouldn't hurt. You just got to do it right, do it at a high level, have a strong execution plan, have consistency, really deliver lots of value, lots of impact for you. Like a weekly webinar, for example, with an expert. Like, let's just say you're selling sleep products, bring in health experts that can touch on sleep on some level. It doesn't have to be sleep experts because it's very, very small niche. But this way you could just provide lots of value, lots of impact, because that creates reciprocity. And then people are more apt to become a customer because of that.
Are any of your brands, are they thinking or planning about what might happen next January if 25, 50, or potentially higher tariffs get slapped on some of the products? Or did that impact where they're sourcing the products, or what's the thought process there?
Yeah. Well, luckily we don't over rely on China. We have a few brands that have China suppliers, but most of our brands don't. So we don't have to worry about it. With some of our brands, which are smaller businesses currently, we will have to definitely address that and figure that out. But it's just an internal ongoing conversation at this point. Things is that entrepreneurship is going to be filled with landmines and just have to find your way to around those landmines or how to jump over those landmines. And this way you don't, blow yourself up. All due respect to veterans. I was a veteran myself. What I mean by that is that there's so much adversity, so many challenges on your business journey. The key to any challenge you face, whether it be tariffs from China and from the US because of China, is just to stay level, just keep yourself very still and calm and always know that there's a way and just figure it out and just apply that strategy and take massive action. This way you can continue to overcome the challenges and the adversity because it's going to happen over and over and over.
If any companies or investors want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Yeah, by all means. Well, they can shoot me an email personally, Josh at ARM5, ARM5 Formula.com. If you have a business that you're looking to get valuated, and you want to find out what your business is worth and what you could do with the business to be able to create more value out of the business so you can set yourself up for the biggest wealth gain you could attain when you go to sell the business. I'm happy to give them advice and some pointers on that. And I'm even happy to consult and help you build that valuation up as fast as possible. If you're an investor and you want to find out more, we have a free exclusive group that we put on for investors that are interested in learning more about investing in the e-commerce. And if you're in e-commerce, the value, the impact of e-commerce and how fast these businesses can scale and what they can do for your passive income and also for your future wealth. And so I definitely would recommend even e-com business owner, they come into the group, find out more about investing in e-com opportunities out there. We're bringing opportunities, but we're also bringing in other experts who also create impact besides what we offer. Like we've had, for example, a New York Times bestselling author, Garrett Gunderson, in our group twice for webinars. And he's a super high level wealth builder that's helped a ton of people over the last decade plus. So I would recommend, those are the two ways that people can get in touch with me and get my help basically.
All right. Thank you for your time. Bye, Josh.
Thank you.